Another response video. Found another video, another rag video by the Glibites. That's how they are. See, the other nihilist thing, I really got to work on that, I guess. Got to do a whole series of videos or something, explain to people that, you know, I mean, you can just do it so easily, right? To point out the absoluteness of value, you just say, 1,000,000 kitties trapped under a tree, getting crushed in terrible pain, going meow, 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 meow. You are 1,000,000 kitties purring. You have a button, one or the other can happen. What would be the rational reason to hit the suffering kitty button? What conceivable rational reason within the realm of reasonable theories, like not some Bugs Bunny theory, but some kind of reasonable reason, could anyone possibly hit the torture the kitty button? There isn't any. It's absolutely visible, the distinction. Suffering kitty is not a good thing. It's just an absolute fact. That these idiots, you can't, how stupid can you be, right? You can't figure out that it's absolutely bad for a kitty to be suffering for no reason. That would be stupid to hit the suffering kitty for no reason button. That there's no rational, logical, sensible, cognitively coherent reason to hit the suffering kitty for no accomplishment button. I mean, what's your response to that, you nihilist fucks? How the fuck do you explain how you can't tell the difference between not suffering and suffering? How? Why? What? How could I take you seriously? Like I could take this guy seriously anyway, right? The compulsive liar. But what? You're faking it? Oh, okay. You know some shit, it seems, but somehow you don't know that suffering sucks and that there's absolutely no reason for it to exist intentionally or purposefully or reasonably if it can be prevented. That you couldn't come up with a logical theory of why you would hit the suffering kitty for no reason button. No, whatever. I mean, it really shouldn't take a series of videos. That should be enough. I should be done with this subject. I should not have to explain that there are things that are just absolutely a fact because there's no reasonable counter theory. You can't even make up a theory that doesn't have something preposterous in it to evade the truth. Anyway, so let's all remember that I did out this guy, when he was a compulsive liar, right? I mean, I did point out that the patch is way too big and forced him to come up with some kind of, his dopey explanation was, well, Walmart's 700 miles away and I've been busy over the last 6 months and I couldn't go on eBay and buy a patch from China and have it airmailed to me for $2.50. Yeah, you could have done that. So, it seemed quite obvious. Liar, liar, liar. Anyway, so yeah, lying. He's just a compulsive liar. And now he's lying some more. Somebody broke into my house with a knife and cut my hand off. For no reason. I mean, people don't break into poor people's houses with knives. Okay, for no reason. So it was probably somebody he screwed over. So he left that out of the story. Yeah, it was the boyfriend of the whatever, 14-year-old girl I raped or whatever it is. Whatever the bullshit is, but there's some kind of bullshit. And that's why he didn't call the cops, because yeah, it's obviously a drug deal or something. He screwed somebody over in a drug deal. The guy came to get some revenge. He didn't quite make it, but do his job, and yeah, Snake wasn't going to be calling no cops because he knows, I'm fucked. I'm sure he would have loved to write up in the paper, hey, man tackles knife-bearing, Bowie knife-bearing attacker. He would have just loved that. He could have gotten some bucks for that. So let's not pretend he's telling the truth again. like he's doing the truth stuff now. So whatever. Ugh, Pierrot's just insufferable. He keeps bringing up the boring dispatcher now. He's brought it up in 3 videos now. I mean, a guy who's been dead for 4 years or 5 years. But I'll just point out, the boring dispatcher's last response video was to me. So, technically, I killed him. So, you know, give credit where credit's due. I mean, the next snowfall would have killed him anyway, or the next lifting of the cup to his mouth would have killed him, the next lifting the hamburger to his mouth, or whatever. I mean, he was obviously in critical trouble. But yeah, I might have killed him. It's possible. Anyway, just pointing out my significance. Yeah. So anyway, so they do this stupid hangout, and yeah, boring as fuck for the first half hour, and then they have to start talking, ragging on inmendham. So let's do that part. Somewhere around there. I don't know. Somewhere around here. Same kind of assholes. We just replaced Toffliday with Snake, and still Skyzer the loony, and Pierrot the asswipe. Compulsive liar also.
Stuff, you know, people holding their tongue, you know. No.
Let me talk about inmendham for a second. It's not that I disagree with a lot of the things he says. I disagree with his basis for saying them and how he puts it.
His basis for saying them, right. So, my basis for describing the fact that I land on planet Earth as a consciousness, I became aware that everybody's a compulsive liar, like you, and said, boy, lying sure sucks. It sure makes this awful confusing. And then as I started to glean the truth out of nature, and I said, oh shit, everything's eating each other, and everything dies, and maggots eat it, and there's 3-legged dogs, and the whole place looks really dirty and smelly. And I said, gee, this is not too fucking charming. I obviously am not on the Love Boat. I'm on some other kind of boat to hell or something. I'm in some kind of junk in the China Sea, and I'm going to drown in a bunch of turd water. Oh, that's what an invalid reason. You applied some sensible judgment and said, oh, I live in a loony bin with crazy fucks. I actually hid in my closet for a couple of years when I was 7 or 8 because, you know, I figured there has to be aliens and they're watching me and this is some kind of crazy IQ test they're giving me. Like, if I react certain ways, then I get to go to the real planet. You know, I did come up with a wacky theory just because I needed some kind of explanation for how the fuck somebody as cool as me ended up on a planet full of lying motherfucking cunt dumbasses. So, okay, you don't agree with my reason. Okay. Fuck you.
Forth as being only logical when there are glaring fucking logical inconsistencies in the things he says. Like, I wouldn't think that people...
So, that was Skyzer clapping his hands. Logical inconsistencies. So, I'm never going to get a frickin' list of these. Okay? Never in anything that I can't say, well, that's complete bullshit because I never said that. So, go ahead and start lying now. Yeah, talk about your 5th grandmother or something.
People should be reproducing because, I mean, hello, there's a finite amount of resources on the fucking planet. You can't just be spitting out bastards willy-nilly like a stupid motherfucker. Okay.
Yeah, well, why don't you make that argument to Pierrot, okay? Because Pierrot says you can have 10 billion people on the planet and everything will be just fine. We'll all eat, whatever, graham crackers, and it'll all be okay. Graham crackers made out of shit.
Okay, conceded that point. Life has no purpose? Well, yes. I mean, not to be a dictionary guy, but life, by definition, can't have purpose.
By definition, can't? See, that doesn't really make sense. Life can't have purpose? No. I mean, life is just replicating molecule. Of course, it could have a purpose if the universe was like a puzzle, and the only piece missing was replication for the sake of replication. And then the whole thing would go bing, 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 and all the lights would flash, and a big, you know, universal jizz would shoot out, and it'd all be happy. So it could possibly have a purpose, but yeah, we know it. There isn't any such pinball machine. The life doesn't fall into the little hole. The bing, bing, bing thing doesn't happen. The free games don't pop out. No, there's no. The universe is not enjoying it.
Okay, unless you believe it was created by something for that purpose.
Exactly. See, but all purposes don't have to be intentional. Purpose is a word to describe something that has a function. And so things can have a function and that they can solve a problem without somebody deliberately solving the problem. So you can just be lucky and you could be walking in the woods and a tree falls on your succubus wife and it solves your problem. Like nothing intentionally did it. But the purpose is satisfied in the sense that your life is enhanced because the succubus is dead.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. But he says, oh, it's only logical that because there's no purpose, we got to wipe that shit out. Cause
yeah, so you're making a funny voice, but you're lying about what I said. So you're just a scuzzy little lying prick. Just another one of the scumbag lying cunts. Like the politicians and all the other scumbags, you're just a liar too. Just lie, 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 lie. I've said it doesn't have any purpose for only one reason. Just to point out there's no redeeming function. So it has to prove itself. It can't rely on saying, look, it's okay if it's really expensive. Like life is really expensive because a lot of things suffer for nothing here. It's okay if it's really expensive because it cures malaria. You see, things that cure a disease can be expensive because they're doing something so fucking good. The point that we don't have a function or purpose in and of ourselves, like the Martians or the Venetians would have no purpose except to maybe make our lives better. But see, that's the only purpose they could possibly have, is they have to help something in need. The universe isn't in need, therefore we can't help it, therefore we can't justify ourselves by saying, we're helping the universe. The universe, we're helping the universe push its Sisyphus ball up the hill. No, we're not doing any of that. We have absolutely no function. We're not lube for the universe. We're not, seductive junk you pour into the girl's drink for the universe. We're absolutely of no fucking use to the universe, which means we have to be somehow a use in and of ourselves. That's the point. So, you disagree with that? You don't think that's logical or valid? Or are you just a fucking liar? A slandering motherfucking liar? Oh, it's no surprise there.
Isn't that the point though? I mean, in order for you to say there's a purpose would require some thing before it, right? I mean, I don't get that part of it.
Well,
I mean,
they do
like
say
I say, I
the
do
purpose
agree
for
with
them is to fight life going on.
Yeah, so now Piro's changing the subject as if this isn't a complete change of the subject, right? The purpose for me has nothing to do with whether life has a purpose, so that's quite irrelevant. Me having a function, again, just goes back to this simple equation. I mean, I can't make this any simpler for you, but if it was checkers, the idea is for you to jump the other checkers and remove them from the board. Every game has an objective. I'm saying the value objective here seems quite logical. Eliminate suffering, create comfort. This seems like the value, okay? If I'm playing the game well, I'm eliminating suffering and creating comfort. That's how you play the game well. You don't agree with that, Snake Pliskinus? That's how you play a good game? Is that when you're done, there's more comfort on the board than there is suffering? That's how you win? You don't think that's reasonable? That's not a reasonable motherfucking theory? Could you just for a second take a little bit of your time out and explain how that's not a reasonable fucking theory? Dumb cunts. Cunts.
So
dumb
there's purpose.
Cunts.
It's to fight it.
Yeah, the purpose is to clean up the mess you fuckheads are making. That's exactly right. You're breaking it, we're fixing it. You're breaking it, we're fixing it. You're breaking it, we're fixing it. That's the idea. That's right. You're assholes, we're wonderful, great, fantastic cleaning machines.
And since it's impossible to stop, that's a pretty endless purpose.
There you go. It's impossible to stop, says Piro, Mr. Brainiac. It's impossible to stop. This is the stupidest goddamn fucking thing. Tyrannosaurus was fucking stopped. Tyrannofucking-saurus. Right? 100-foot tall giant motherfucking lizard. Okay? And there were so many of them, it's one of the most populous, dinosaur bones you find. Okay, there's Tyrannosauruses in all different sizes. You know, they thought they were different species for a while, but they found out that the small ones were really just little Tyrannosauruses, and they look a little different. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. There's a ton of them roaming around, chomping shit to pieces. And they're not even here anymore. Oh, but yes, somehow life can't be destroyed. Somehow, no, it can't ever end. It will be destroyed, Piro. It's going to get irradiated into little teeny bits. Every little goddamn fragment of our existence will be annihilated. There'll be no remnant left. No sign of it whatsoever anywhere, you fucking idiot. But you're a fucking idiot, so why the fuck am I arguing with a fucking idiot who doesn't even listen to the counter-argument? That's why he keeps making the same redundant mistakes over and over. He keeps slandering people over and over because he doesn't listen to the counter-arguments. He's that big a motherfucking prick. Well, he's not a big prick. He's that big a motherfucking cunt.
That is,
I give up on the whole
for
habit.
an insane purpose. I mean, because why not just kill yourself? I mean,
Yeah, right. Why not just kill yourself? You want to stop the Nazis? Blow your brains out. That'll stop the Nazis. I mean, it's just so stupid. You know, it's just so fucking stupid. Like my problem, I made me. That's how I got here. I made the mistake of creating me. And so once I kill myself, I won't be created. I mean, it's just so fucking stupid.
Real. But what really bothers me about
nobody says he can't kill himself because he feels somehow obligated to stay alive. And I'm like, well, how do you work that out? That's like
how do you work that out? Yeah, it's really quite obvious. See, a thing happens because certain people do it, and if you prevent them from doing it, then that's how you work it out. So see, there was drunk drivers, they were killing a lot of people, so we passed laws against drunk driving and saved 20,000 people a year from being killed and 300 or so thousand a year from being horribly injured. Yeah, that's how you do it. You change people's behavior and it stops the thing that's causing the suffering from happening. That's how you do it. You can change the future. You can't change the present. You can't fix the past. But actually we can model the future, recognize that certain models, hey, if I do certain things change. If I say certain things, it's possible that certain things will change. I can run the models in my head, I can see the outcome, and I can say that's the one to go for. So I'm going for the model where I get enough people with a tiny bit of brains to figure out that, oh yeah, it's just idiots who are reproducing, and they're having idiots, and it's basically becoming idiocracy. And wouldn't it be a good idea if we just stop the idiots from reproducing, and then we win? Ooh, way too complicated, huh? Wacky theory that is.
saying a square, a circle. There is no reason to stay alive if you think that all life is.
A lot of people
shit.
don't notice this, but Gary talks a lot. He would say he doesn't believe in reincarnation, but he talks in terms as though there's reincarnation.
Oh yeah, right. So I've only gone over this 5 million times, right? Unlike you, Piro, I don't think I'm 1 in a trillion. I don't think I'm the most special thing on the planet. Like I'm so unique and fantastic that nothing like me will ever grace the planet ever again. No, what I basically see is that we are pigeonholable. And it just depends on how specific you want to get in terms of categorizing us. So yeah, maybe there won't be another inmendham with exactly the same color hair and exactly the most color blue eyes. But there will be human beings who will wake up on planet Earth and say, gee, this doesn't look like much fun. How the fuck did I get here? And they'll spend the rest of their lives just kind of saying, shit, how do I avoid the shit? There's shit everywhere. Everywhere you step, it either screams or it squishes. There's absolutely no good place to step on this planet of fucking shit and screaming. Why would I want to live in this horror house, this Freddy's nightmare of crap? I mean, the only peace I get is in my dreams. You know, you people are just disgusting. You're disgusting. So yeah, that's really, oh wow, that's a complex reincarnation theory. The fact that I concede I'm not that fucking unique. I'm not 1 in a billion or 1 in a million even. I'm probably 1 in 1,058. You know, out of every 1,058 people, you're going to find another brain that's basically, you know, doesn't speak the same exact English I speak, and it doesn't have exactly the same mannerisms, but it's basically thinking along the same lines. It knows the disgust. It smokes a cigarette and says, "Oh, fuck, I'm alive again on planet Earth," or something like that. And it's just that feeling. They're basically just living the same guttural sensation of, I just really don't belong here with these retards. I must have been one motherfucking son of a bitch to end up here. That kind of feeling. They pay the price for your stupidity. That's what it comes down to. I'm basically the reincarnation of assholes like you who end up paying the price for your stupidity. You'll pay, but you'll pay in the form of another human being. That's how the payment is done. The payment is just migrated to another consciousness who will do the suffering and have the awareness of, oh man, I should not have been such an asshole. So in a sense, I'm just expressing the regret for the assholes who had the arrogance to think this was a free ride. I mean, quite obviously, I'm the byproduct of pro-natalists, of optimists, okay? And I'm the whiplash of that optimism. I'm that optimism's education and regret. You fucking idiot.
And he talks about, well, it's no good for me to take myself, because then I'm just right back here again. Like there's a reincarnation idea in his language for sure.
Well, whatever. I mean, I'm just saying, what is the difference? Am I really going to sit there and say that you assholes would certainly understand that one chimpanzee, they all look alike to me? You wouldn't sit there and dissect it into 4 million segments and say each chimpanzee is some special snowflake bullshit. You'd basically say, well, if one chimpanzee causes another chimpanzee to suffer, another chimpanzee to suffer, another chimpanzee, you'd see the lineage and you'd say it's all the same shit. You wouldn't say this makes any goddamn difference, whether it's chimpanzee A that gets polio or chimpanzee 17. It doesn't matter. And you know it. And I'm just acknowledging the fact that humans are pretty much just chimpanzees, and you can pretend we're all fucking special and all that kind of bullshit, but no, we're just sentient feeling things, and we have a class of feelings, and it's not that unique. And if I find something horribly offensive, and I'm recognizing that it's a horrible thing, I would be stupid not to try to prevent it. It's just stupid not to prevent torture, you fucking idiot. And I'm telling you, it's torture. Okay, you're too stupid to figure that out, but you're torturing people. Okay, you're a malicious, nasty, motherfucking, arrogant torturer. I think you know that. You just don't want to accept that. That's all you are.
Sure, there is this. You could watch it in a lot of his videos, and you'll see this talking about as if that he doesn't want to be born again.
Well, don't you think it's the same thing? There was men 2,000 years ago lamenting life and talking about how life sucks and it's stupid. And this is, God, we're just trapped in this stupid engine of fucking meat grinder. So, yeah, isn't it the same thing? Isn't it just, yeah, they're dead, I'm alive, I'm just carrying on the battle. It's just this endless fucking war we're trapped in. And I want to liberate us from this obligation to keep telling you motherfuckers to stop it, you fucking cunt. It's really offensive. You glib asshole. You're just such a fucking pile of suck.
So therefore, stop having kids.
Oh yeah, just therefore stop making dead daughters. Keep making more dead daughters. I liked molesting her for. Oh yeah. Oh, I don't want to tell you that part. All right, I'll just make up stories about you. You're gonna keep talking shit, fuckhead. Why'd she kill herself? Why'd she kill herself? She killed herself, jackass. Newsflash, she killed herself, shit for brains. Because she hated you.
I'm going to give you my personal theory on good old Gary, and it's this.
Whatever. Yeah, your personal theory with your, hey, I got combed hair today. Okay, yes, here the liar is going to give us a theory. Oh, goody. The compulsive liar, sorry.
He does think that life has no purpose, but it's more like he's very bitter about it. And his
yeah, I'm bitter about the mountains of unnecessary suffering all you glib motherfuckers have created since the beginning of time. You know, time where you started the human game. Yeah, I'm yeah, I find it really irritating. Yeah, really irritating.
purpose is to drag as many people down as he possibly can with.
Okay, that's what you think. That's what you think it's all about. I just want to sit here and waste my time dragging people down. Why? Why would that be? For what purpose? Does I enjoy people so much? Oh, come on. Silly theory.
Like, how long can you go looking at the world and looking at how people behave counter to their interests and counter to the interests of others, all while claiming that they are doing the right fucking thing, before your mind just totally fucking breaks and you turn into a malignant cancer that just absolutely wants to make everybody hurt.
Yeah, maybe that's your reaction to things, right? It's not my reaction, okay? I would, like I said, I just, as a selfish indulgence, I would enjoy personally pitchforking all you fucking glib motherfuckers and running you over with something and feeding you to crocodile. I would enjoy that personally because you're just so fucking evil, because you know better. You know what you're saying is absolute crap. You've just conceded that you're looking at the world and it's all a bunch of fucking buffoons and assholes. If I gave you a sack and said, here, pull out a next human being card, and you have to actually be that asshole. You have to actually wear their silly clothes and their floppy foot shoes, and you have to actually weigh 350 pounds and smell like a sack of shit and be as dumb as a goddamn fucking turd. I don't think you'd be too interested in picking. And I think that's the honest truth. And I think you're just a liar to say you wouldn't mind it at all. You wouldn't mind humiliating your intelligence at all. So lie some more. Just keep lying, shithead.
Badly as you heard. And this is what bothers me about Gary. He appeals to people who have lost their faith in religion. They have a severe psychological turmoil, and they might recover.
Right, and recover to do what, shit for brain? Recover to do what? Glibly march through their life like a fucking zombie until they get cancer and die. Oh, gee, I sure did steal an awful lot from them, didn't I? I stole the big fun of being, what, an alcoholic hiding in Kansas from your drug dealers? I mean, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? I didn't steal any. You can't steal anything from a fucking human being, okay, except their dignity. And that's what you're stealing. You're saying live the lie, okay? Yeah, just tell another joke, okay, to push the vomit down. That's all you're doing. Okay. Push another joke down just to keep the vomit from coming out. It's just such a fucking lie. Live your fucking lie, douchebag, but don't tell me you're doing something intelligent. Don't tell me you're doing something reasonable. Don't tell me you're not doing something to slander and offend and disgrace the neurons you've been blessed with. You've been blessed, you've been benefited to have this capacity to know the truth, and you're spitting on it because you're too fucking lazy and too fucking weak to care. So yeah, fuck you. Stupid drunk.
But he feeds them. He offers them a big old glass of poison right when they're weak enough to drink it. And that...
Oh, dude, I've pointed the same thing out. He's a dangerous...
Yeah, oh, Jesus, amazing. I mean, really. So, I mean, all you people keep playing this game like you're going to just sit there and say, oh, he's not so bad, he's not so bad, he's not so bad. You see, these people are pretty bad. They're just insulting your intelligence. They're saying if you see a little bit of reason in people being awful, goddamn cynical about how aggressive these assholes are playing the game and how reckless they are, like even people making nuclear power plants. Like if you were there and you could see them like using aluminum foil because they don't want to spend 50 cents for real tin or something. And you're like, what the fuck, man? And so you want to mock that? You want to call that somebody just causing trouble? Somebody just making trouble?
person, for people who are fragile, he's really dangerous.
No, so he's just more of this idiot, this lunatic, talking about other people being fragile.
Imagine if he was a poor soul who just happened to think, yeah, the world's a shitty place because of whatever circumstances that made you feel that way. Do you think he's gonna fucking help them recover from that shit?
Recover to what? To be like you? Fucking, what, an unemployed Bible salesman pretending to have some kind of disorder for which you can only drink beer? Yeah, right. Fuck you.
I don't think so. The guy's dangerous. You
can't even show up for his own. He's moderating this stupid thing, whatever the fuck it is, these hangouts. They like to hang their shit out and play with it. And he can't even show up to the show upright with a, some kind of dress of some kind. I mean, quite amazing. You're doing your show and you can't do that.
There's aptitude.
I think a lot of the same things, a lot, but I'm not going to go around like dragging everybody down into a...
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the truth. Instead, I'll just pretend like everybody else, and I'll just tell jokes in the parade, and I'll put on my Bozo the Clown, suit, and say, hey, wait a minute, it's not bad, in front of the tin foil on the nuclear reactor, just to keep them distracted so they don't see the reality that you're doomed, motherfucker, and you're doomed because assholes keep giving assholes license to breed, because they just don't have the guts to say, hey, assholes shouldn't have kids. They don't have the guts to say something that simple. Assholes shouldn't breed. Wow, that's too outrageous.
A bit of despair, because even I'm not that big of an asshole. I keep it locked up in...
Well, frankly, like I said, a liar seems to me to be a bigger asshole. I mean, you've been on YouTube and you've just compulsively and perpetually lied through your entire existence on YouTube, and we still don't know whether you're even still doing that, because who wants to spend all the time or trouble to figure out, hey, is that guy lying again?
Side where it festers as mental illness. I don't go around like fucking up other people's brains.
But you...
Yes, that's right. You don't fuck up anybody's brains. You just make videos mocking them, and that doesn't fuck up a brain at all. Oh, okay, sure.
Even in that regard, Snake, even if that was true, which, we would think it would be.
The what? So, I do love some of this, okay? Just because, Skyzer is a complete idiot. I mean, he's got a 6th grade education. And I just love the idea that Snake is pretending like Skyzer's his friend, because Skyzer is just so complimentary, and he's just so good at like ironing his underwear and shit. And Piero's just, oh yeah, I'll play along too. And it's just, it's just so, it's hilarious. Look, Piero's falling asleep. He's like, what? Skyzer's talking. Oh yeah, whatever.
What does he think he's going to achieve? That also boggles me. Like,
well, what do you think? Let's see. Like I said, I'll give you a list of people who have told me outright that they have radically changed their life plan because of listening to my videos. They were interested in having children, and now they're scared to death to have children. And they understand that they're just going to open the door to opportunity for preposterous failure and suffering and misery. And there's very little hope that they can control any of it enough to force a good outcome. I mean, I've said more than they would say. What they have said is, yes, you saved me from being an asshole. That's what they've said, Skyzer. So you want to argue with all of them? I mean, I can direct them to you. How's that? I'll direct them. Go tell Skyzer that he's full of shit. Yeah.
Achieving what he wants, in my opinion. He wants to drag a bunch of motherfuckers down into his pit of despair.
No, I want to stop assholes from creating assholes. I want to stop the idiocy of pointless, idiotic zombie life on Earth. And it is all just zombie life. It's just a bunch of fucking worms, and you are a worm, a lying, wiggly, crappy worm looking for an advantage wherever you can find it. just want to bore yourself into something and take whatever you can out of it. And that's all this planet's covered with. It's a bunch of fucking goddamn stupid, ignorant parasites.
He is a never-ending abyss of misery, and
Well, that's not true either, so whatever, lie some more, right? Because it's just not true. It's not an abyss of misery. It's just a description of fucking reality. And you don't have to be miserable because the reality sucks, but it does take the edge off, I have to concede.
he just wants as many people as possible to join him in that abyss.
Yeah, whatever. We can have an orgy or something. That would be okay with me. Mostly.
And then would you?
I mean, I bet I could throw a better party than you. I really bet I could. Yeah.
Would you agree with that part of Paris? Or, Would you agree with that part of? I mean,
Well, I
I'll
don't know.
just
It's
say
a way of putting it. Yeah, I mean, my belief. I just look.
It's a way of putting it. Well, that's a very straight answer. Typical of Puro. Crooked answers to every question.
To see whether my assessment is sort of compatible, and there could be that might be a way to put it. I mean,
That might be a way of saying it. Yeah, well, I'll just suggest that you molested your daughter, and that's why you should kill yourself. Okay, so I just talk some shit about you. How's that? Okay, I'll just put that in people's. Maybe people I just roll that around their head. Oh yeah, maybe that's why it happened. Yeah, that's probably it.
that I think I kind of came to the conclusion because of also seeing Gary's channel evolve.
Yeah, see, this is one of his lies. Like, my channel somehow evolved. One of the first videos I did was a video where a can of Ensure is arguing with a deer on a box, about animal rights and Lyme disease and shit. So, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's just a lie to say there was some other agenda I had. I've always had the same agenda. You fix what you can that's here, but the end game is that the game sucks, and that's why I did videos about animal rights and the right to die. So, don't lie, fuckface. Don't keep lying, fuckface.
I had more of an activist attitude. So like you're saying, he wants to fix the world, comes up with his version of logical arguments, which, for example, instant runoff voting, totally agree, yes.
Yeah, the only issue upon which we agree, and as I've stated, it's totally not useful unless you include getting rid of geographic bias in voting districts for legislative bodies. So without that, the only thing instant runoff voting does is get rid of the spoiler effect in presidential elections, so it would have prevented Bush from winning, but it wouldn't have made Gore a better candidate.
It's only logical. Let's use actual math in our, democracy. We can sort of update it. And
yeah, this is the same old jive. You just keep saying the same old lie like this is somehow my agenda shifted. And it wasn't a shift in my agenda, it was a shift in my boldness. I became more comfortable with saying, look, let's get to the real story. And like I said, it was a natural transition because I got into the argument with fake Sagan about the fact that the human race wasn't going to survive 100 years anyway. You're not going to survive, you fucking idiots, okay? The human race is going down. You can go down with your fucking boots on, or you can go down like a whining, screaming, horrifically brutalized victim. You can be a victim of your own violence and stupidity, or you can be a graceful, decent species that just recognize there's no playable game. That's your choices. Those are the two models I'm trying to say. Look, the models are right there. Choose. And you're going to choose the asshole road. Because you're assholes.
so getting nowhere in that after decades of trying to be an activist in your local county politics and find out how...
So again, can't even get that right. I never got involved in county politics ever. So it was the local town and the state and the feds, but I never got involved in county politics. So you can't even get it right, okay? The one part of government I never sent a letter to, I never communicated with, I never said a damn thing about was county government. They're called freeloaders here. Freeholders, freeloaders. Yeah, I never even knew what one was.
Screwed up it is. I've seen a lot of activists that are like that. There's not many successes. Every once in a while, there's a success, and even those get sold out and beat back, and you're on the weaker side.
Yeah, I got a great letter from Jerry Brown. I mean, he did at least write back to me. Well, he had somebody write back to me. It was written, so that was kind of nice. Yeah, but it didn't work. Jerry Brown still turned into a compromising political sellout, so nothing new there.
Side of this sort of thing, and nothing ever goes as fast as you think it's going to when you're trying to do those things in the first place. So there's some sort of bitterness about, like,
yeah, there's no bitterness. And all the talk radio shows I call in on talk radio shows, and it was always animal rights and the right to die, always.
He strikes me, he likes animals and stuff, that he really loved the joy.
No, I don't love animals, I don't like animals, I respect their sentience. So again, you just can't get anything right, because you live your life based on how things make you feel, rather than how they make you think. Because you're a stupid fuck, you don't know the difference between feelings and thoughts. Thoughts have integrity because they can be based on intelligence. Feelings have no integrity because they're based on stupid impulses, based on desires that are controlled by conditioning. You stupid idiot.
In nature as a kid, exploring and everything, and the whole seeing the pessimistic side of things, he's the kind of person that says, well, fuck all that joy is an illusion, so it's even worse. It's the poison, it's the frog getting boiled.
Yeah, it's all an illusion, but so let's not even get into that crap. I didn't say the joy isn't here. I'm saying the joy is a reflection of the tension and the aggravation our system is made to create. It's the absence of the whip. If you take the slave's chains off, he's going to feel pretty fucking good. And so, yeah, I don't think it's a crazy theory to say that our joy is made out of relief from our non-joy, of burden. Relief, burden creates joy. Yeah, I don't think that's an outrageous theory.
Water or whatever, because it's just sugar to get you into this shit. And so
that's the case, though, part of it.
Yeah, so let's also recognize, I mean, a month ago, Piro was a fucking alcoholic, so these guys are all alcoholics. They're all proud to be alcoholics, and they don't know what addiction is. They don't understand the concept. Right? I mean, can you get, I think they all smoke, too. They've all been nicotine addicts.
If that's the case, then, Pato, why does he invest so much time in being negative when actually...
In being negative, right. I'm being very assertive and positive in here. We can fix this. We can prevent suffering. We can prevent torture. You know how cool that is? Preventing torture? That so fucking kicks ass. So yeah, you want to call it negative, go ahead, retard. You're a shit eater. You're a fucking poo eater. Alright? You're a poo eater. You're a fucking poo eater. And you want other people to eat poo. I mean, you just suck.
The only reason why he's negative because he sees the positivity in life and thinks it's being wasted.
He sees the positivity in life and thinks it's being wasted. Again, so is this a fair paraphrase of my philosophy? Of course it isn't. It's just absolute nonsense. It's all negative all the way down. All you can do is dig yourself somewhere out of, halfway out of the dungeon, and you get a few breaths of fresh air, and you say, gee, life is good. But it's only because you've been in a dungeon.
You can't come to a conclusion where negativity reigns supreme when the reason for the negativity is because you see positivity in the universe, right? Which would be existence itself. In happy,
whatever. Which would be existence itself is positivity. I mean, is this anything different than rainbow, leprechaun, love, rainbow, leprechaun, love? It's babble. It's just absolute babble.
How about some pink balloons? You can't have your cake and eat it, so to speak. But
like he knows what that means anyway. Of course he doesn't. It means you can't have it. Like you can't save the cake and eat the cake. I don't understand.
He's trying to make out like he can.
There's a lot of social
consistency that I was speaking of. Where he's like, oh, suffering, that is objectively real. It's practically a mathematical scientific fact. However,
Okay, so he's a mocking voice about suffering again. So we got another guy making mocking voices about suffering. Like, you can't demonstrate with any kind of, like, thought experiment how suffering is, like, impossible to logically discount. Oh, maybe you could do a thought experiment where you just explain that you could have a choice of a planet with 6 million Jews in concentration camps or a planet with 6 million Jews eating falafels. And, you know, what would be your rational reason for choosing the planet with the suffering Jews? And you won't have a rational reason. You won't have a logical reason. You won't have any sensible reason whatsoever. You will not be able to conceive of one or create one or imagine one whatsoever without creating some kind of catch where the tortured Jews somehow are manufacturing happy Muslims or something. Some kind of silly compensation. So if I just say you can't create artificial compensations and all you have is suffering or not suffering, what's your rational logical theory? You won't have one, and then at the same time you won't concede, well, that seems like one of those absolute facts. When I can't create an alternative theory that makes any sense whatsoever, then I think you're getting close to one of those absolute truth things.
the joy that we get out of life, that's total fucking illusion, even though they are produced by the self-same...
Yeah, whatever. So again, you can mock it all, but I guess, you know, taking away the whip isn't a good. So is that what you're saying? Or are you saying, no, that's only a tiny percentage of our joys come from taking away a burden? I'm just saying, give me a list of joys, and I'll explain how they're likely being created by the existence of a deprivation, a pain, a tension created in yourself, in your body, in your physiology, and that you are relieved of that tension, and that creates the relaxation, the pleasure, the calm, the smoothness of your reordering, your rebooting. And that's the game being played. Nature isn't using real carrots. It's just saying the carrots are just, we'll take away the whip. We'll take the shackles off. And that's the carrot.
Neural mechanisms, that's somehow logical. I mean, that shit just grinds my gears.
Yeah, well, grinding your gears and you making a reasonable argument countering it are two different things, I guess. I guess I'm just saying, make a list of all these wonderful pleasures, these deep, profound pleasures we have, that aren't basically the byproduct of relief from fear and tension and worry and all these negative forces. The negative circumstance. Explain that, please. I mean, you know, you can just think of all the times where people say, "Oh my God," you know, they have some symptom, they go to the doctor, they're worried they have cancer, and they get the diagnosis says you don't have cancer, and they have that great feeling. You know, well, they have the great feeling. Why? Because the negative hasn't gotten them.
It does.
Like, you have both. It's either both are real, both are fake.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm not saying joy isn't real. I'm just saying that the only way you're creating it is by creating tension in the rubber band. You went backwards to go forwards, shithead. And there's no gaining in going backwards to go forwards. Again, if I was to create a synthetic being that was going to live in a virtual reality, some sort of life of integrity, how could I do that without giving him memories that create integrity? Which means he'd probably have to have memories of humiliation and memories of sorrow, and I'd have to create a bunch of negative for him to be able to appreciate the value of the good things. You'd have to know what noise is to know what music is. That's the way it has to be, shithead. It's not an unreasonable theory at any rate, fuckface.
Either way, it's a fucking push.
Yeah, exactly.
Either way, it's a fucking push. So this is the glib, simple way of just sliding right past it. So somehow it all evens out and it's okay. The rebound happiness is so good that it doesn't matter how bad the torture is. It's just stupid. Fine, speak for yourself. Again, you're not gonna, you want the challenge. Well, the challenge I'll really put to you: if you don't have consent, if you're gonna steal your sister's money and go to Las Vegas, do you think you have a higher obligation to make sure you don't lose? Like you'd have to have a real plan not to lose her money? That kind of thing. Like when you don't have consent, there's a higher standard of performance. Can you understand that sentence? When you don't have consent, there's a higher standard of performance. Which would mean in the act of procreation, since you don't have consent, you're playing with something else's welfare, you should know exactly what you're doing and exactly what the outcome's going to be. Can you understand that as an ethical code?
That would be the zero-sum game. I mean, Paro didn't like this, and you know, we had a great debate, me, Paro, and Hafladay about this very subject. It's just
yeah, you don't have any great debates. You're just a bunch of slandering, lying pieces of turd.
You know, for me,
Piro's never said anything of any value to anyone ever. Somebody want to find a Piro quote that's actually quotable? That would be interesting. Now let's find one Piro quote that's quotable. One. Yeah, that'd be funny. Yeah, I mean, it's not one. There really isn't one. Where I have precious commodities controlled by crude forces. And that's a really good one.
Life is a zero-sum because you know, you can't apply value unless you...
There you go. So life is a zero-sum. So why don't you just end there, Skyzer? So another one of my quotes, of course.
Exist. It doesn't... How would one do that if you don't exist? So, therefore, Gary might be valid, and, you know...
Gary. What should I call you? I mean, you know, if you're going to use my name, can I call you, what, Ricky? Ricky! Hey, Ricky! Hey, Ricky! Oh, Ricky's so fine. Ricky, hey, Ricky. Ricky.
This is the thing I don't like about Gary as well. Even when you agree with this fucking idiot, you will still find some...
Yeah, anything you would agree with me on, I'm going to wonder that I really got that one wrong. Skyzer agrees? Oh, gee, I'm in trouble. So yeah, I'm going to worry when you agree with me.
Reason...
You're insane, you little fucking turd.
To disagree with you.
And you're retarded and insane. And you have really flabby boobs.
It's just like, why do that? Why not cultivate the things that you agree on instead of...
Yeah, but I have a...
Cultivate what? What agreement do we have, you stupid cunt? We don't agree on anything that matters. Fuck you.
A bizarre amount of tolerance for that for some reason, and that's just caused a lot of, like, given this benefit.
Yeah, well, you don't have any tolerance for it. You're a sadomasochist. You enjoy involving yourselves in the lives of disturbed and troubled people because you feed on it, because you're a fucking sicko. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
To the doubt thing you're talking about, Snake. You know better. I have a huge tolerance for that, but it ends up biting me anyway, because sometimes it's like I'm trying to go into this tiny chat and have to see what discussion's going on, and it's just going to be this tirade. Like, there is no...
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute waste of my time, because you're going to say something stupid, and then I'm going to have to explain why it's just stupid. Like, we'll talk politics, and you'll say, oh, there should be campaign finance reform, and we should give the politicians money to spend on Google ads, and that way it'll reduce the money spent and take all the corruption out. Some idiotic theory like that. It's just completely nonsensical. It doesn't stop the, you know, the Ford Foundation or any other capitalist organization from making their own infomercials and running flags all over the place and doing all of that shit. So it doesn't stop any of it. It just gives a politician a bunch of free money. It pays a bunch of advertisers a bunch of money, and it pays a bunch of shit programming shit money for shit. So fuck you. Finances a bunch of bad television.
And to, okay, let's move on, and you know it does take its toll. But
yeah, it does take its toll. You're just an entire waste of time. Again, I'm just saying, every fucking conversation we had was just a tedious effort on my part to get you to concede the argument. You would concede the argument, and then you'd make a video the next day denying you conceded it. I mean, it happened over and over and over again, and it's why I said there's no point in talking to this asshole, because he's such a lying scum. I got you to concede that parameciums probably aren't conscious in live conversation. I berated you over the head with the facts over and over, and then you just kept talking about it right. You just picked up right where you left off, like you never conceded the argument. So why you're an obnoxious waste of time, the worst kind of troll.
Goddamn minutes. I mean, so the reason Gary's like that, in my opinion, is because he's kind of like me. He thrives under adversity. Like,
yeah, whatever. I just thrive. I don't need adversity. You know what? I thrive under relaxation and non-botheredness. Leave me alone, and I can have a perfectly good fucking time. So I really thrive. Me and my penis walking into the sunset or something. That's my thrive, okay? I don't need this aggravation, you motherfucker. I'm only doing this because I have to do this. Because what rational, what would I be saying to my future self? Oh yeah, sorry I let you down, buddy. Somebody let me down. You see what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of people in the past who could have shot my mother in the vagina. Who could have at least said to her, hey, you know what, lady? Maybe you ought to think about it before you just go farting out a bunch of kids. Okay, somebody might have been able to say something to that stupid bitch to explain that you're a reckless asshole who doesn't know shit about shit. Why are you having 4 fucking kids? Somebody could have done that, and they didn't. Okay, so I'm just making sure that some future guy doesn't look back in the past and say, none of you guys tried. Well, I'm going to try to see if I can kick, metaphorically, some vagina. And that's what I'm going to goddamn do.
When I get really depressed, I mentioned this in my videos, get really depressed, it seems like nothing's working out right and life is pointless. At that point, the sheer amount of adversity absolutely compels me.
Yeah, well, it's not the reaction I have, okay? So I'm obviously not like you, okay? I'm not like you. I'm not a nihilist, glib, selfish, motherfucking cunt, useless sack of shit. Criminal, too. You know, you're confessed criminal, pretty much, right?
To live. I can't just give up, because when shit goes so far sideways, I'm like, challenge accepted. I am gonna. But
was there some way I can do that? Is there some way I can challenge you to answer some of my simple questions? Like, it only takes a little bit of torture to ruin anything. Like anything you could describe, any good thing you could possibly describe, I'd only have to add a little tiny bit of torture to it, and yeah, game over, right? I mean, how much Super Bowl, like if you were having the Super Bowl and I pointed out that, oh yeah, it's going to come with this much torture, I mean, how much torture would you say was too much? And everybody would say, oh, fuck that, we're not doing that. I mean, how many kids would I have to overtly say, I'm going to kill? Okay, so if I was like putting a gun at kids' heads, I'd say, I'm going to kill these little kids if you have the Super Bowl. How many would it take? Huh? Is there some way I could challenge you? Is I like put you on the ropes, you know, so you'd fight back and explain how that doesn't make any sense, to think that torture's a really powerful poison?
Gary's like that, only to a much greater extent, and he doesn't care about wasting his precious minutes of life.
Yeah, whatever. I do care. I do find it really irritating. I hate you motherfuckers for it. I really would like to just be involved in my own fantasy life and not have to worry about any of this crap. I'd like to be making porn videos, frankly, on whatever, PornTube or something. Yeah, that's what I would really like to be doing. So, fuck you, lying cunt.
At all.
Well, that's one of my ultimate rejections of the whole argument, because, you know, I agree that things are so screwed up, and I can't prove that. You
can't prove that it's at all reasonable for you fucking assholes to hold out for your... The Hope Wagon is on its way. The Hope Wagon will be here any day. Any day now, the Hope Wagon will be here. They've been saying that shit for thousands of years. They've been saying, Jeebus be a-comin'. That's all you're doing. You're just giving us the same lie. Oh, Jeebus is coming. The second coming of the Jeebus Hope Wagon is coming. You're just doing the same exact bullshit. Just keep holding out for the solution that none of you assholes had the balls to create. None of you assholes had clue one how to make happen. But you think your super generation created by a bunch of fucking moronic poor slobs, that super generation's going to get the job done. I mean, Snake, could you make a little bit of fun of Piro here? I mean, a little bit of fun. I mean, he actually believes that, yes, okay, most of the population is born in poverty on planet Earth, and he thinks those poverty children are going to miraculously turn into Einstein and come up with all kinds of brilliant ideas how to solve all of our unsustainable problems. He thinks that's what's going to fucking happen. Could you laugh at him and mock him a little bit?
Formula isn't already determined to go negative, but I'm not going to give in. You know, when I think of who...
I'm not going to give in. So it's just making it clear, right? I'm not going to surrender to the facts. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to keep hope alive and torture the fuck out of everything else.
Who would be, you know, if there was a movement to have antinatalism, who's going to go first? It's like that thing in...
He's doing that again. Who's going to go first? They've already gone first, you retard. The smartest people on Earth have the fewest children. The smarter you are, the fewer children you have. The smart people have already decided to go first. The only people having a ton of kids are morons, you dumb fuck. God, you're such a pile of suck.
In Hitchhiker's Guide, where they send off this...
I mean, the truth is, like 80% of women have less than 2.5 children. Not that 2.5 is a good number, but obviously it's like 60% are having less than 2.2, which is the important number.
Planet comes up with a plan to send off 3 spaceships into outer space, and they send all the middle managers first, but the other 2 ships just...
Yeah, we already know the answer to this question, retard. Again, they've already voluntarily gone first. The intelligent people on Earth have already voluntarily gone first and chosen antinatalism, not sustainable population. All native populations in all civilized countries are in decline, and the only thing keeping their countries growing is imported population from third world scumbag holes, shitholes. That's it, fuckhead. The poorest people in the world have the highest birth rates. It's a fact, retard. But a fact you'll pretend doesn't exist, because you keep making inane arguments that have nothing to do with the facts.
Where we're planning to go at all. And it's kind of like, who would go first on the antinatalists? Is the Bush family going to be first on it?
Yes, the Bush family probably has replicated by percentage of females far less than the average poor person. It's probably the truth.
Antinatalist bandwagon? I don't think so.
Yeah, so again, complete lie, complete nonsense, complete fake statement. And you people say this is what people should be doing on the internet. Just make up crap. We already know the answer to the question. The smart people have already gone first. The rich people have already gone first.
This is what bothers me. Like, I have the foresight to not reproduce because, I mean, there's too many fucking hungry mouths.
Yeah, because you're not quite as stupid as a Piro, but that's, you know, it's not saying much. But yeah, you just have to be a little bit smarter than a Piro to figure that out. Having kids is badass trouble.
To feed, and my parents instilled in me all throughout my lifetime that children are a gigantic burden, which admittedly kind of hurt my feelings, but ultimately...
ultimately you said, well, that sounds exactly right, because, yeah, I have been a complete failure and made no contribution to their life whatsoever. And they've really hated my jokes. Yeah, I mean, I would feel like quite a failure as a parent if this was what I made. A lying scumhole. Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of stupid. Like, yeah, this is what I gave the world. It needs another liar. Compulsive liars are just so much fun. Not.
I'd say it helped me out because I don't have any screaming bastards who will eventually grow up to be ungrateful fuckwads. So
Right, so again, you just can't figure out that life sucks, but you can say that. You'll say that, and you'll know it and mean it, and you do mean it and you know it, and yet you'll pretend that people shouldn't say, oh shit, can't we take a buy on that? Can't we take a pass on doing that forever?
I mean, yeah.
But it's like a pro-choice thing. I mean,
It's like a pro-choice thing. I'm allowed to choose for you. I will impose life on you, and whether you like it or not. If you're tortured, too bad. I don't have any solution to that problem. I don't care. I made my choice. Fuck you. Oh, amazing. Just fucking pro-choice on rape. That's what he's saying. Quite clearly.
assume you're pro-choice, and this is just in the same category. People have to choose for themselves.
They have to choose on themselves whether they are going to impose a burden on somebody else. Right. The victims have no rights. Victims have no rights. That's all he's saying. Victims have no rights. Victims have no rights.
That's all there is to it. I think
that's all there is to it. Victims have no rights. Fuck you, victims. Fuck you, victims. That's all he's saying. Fucking child molester.
Good to advocate for non-natalism, for you don't have to have kids, because we're coming from this Christian society where mothers and fathers are like, why haven't you made me a grandparent yet? That's ridiculous. So it needs to be chopped down a little. But the end of that...
Chopped down a little. Yeah, right. In Muslim countries, it's part of the religious obligation. So, yeah, maybe that needs to be chopped down, but you're not going to have the balls to take that on. Little weak ass.
That isn't... The whole human race has to commit suicide, basically.
Yeah, it doesn't have to do anything. Basically, it's suicide. It's called suicide, right? Somehow the human race is conscious. It's not the individuals who are conscious. It's not the individuals that are sensate. No, the human race is. And it's going to have to jump off a building and go through the suffering of crashing on the asphalt. No, none of that has to happen. Procreation, you retard, isn't the same as suicide, fucknut. But again, you're too dishonest to even acknowledge that you recognize that suicide is not the same as procreation. Birth control is not murder.
Through a slow process. Because as a species, that's what's happening. The species would be committing suicide in the most gentle way.
Yeah, suicide in the most gentle way. Well, now all of a sudden it doesn't sound so bad, does it? Suicide in the most gentle way. Well, gee, that's kind of better than dying of cancer or a brain tumor. I would choose suicide in the most gentle way as opposed to dying of Alzheimer's or something. Why would I die of Alzheimer's when I can just commit suicide in the most gentle way? Especially when you're imposing it, you stupid fuck.
No individual has to take themselves out, but the whole species would take itself out. So that is a kind of suicide, and you can...
No, it's not even close to a suicide. It's not a sentient being. The human race is not a entity with an interest, idiot. You're just the interest parties, okay? You have a delusion in your head that says humans need to exist. It can't be justified as being at all rational because you don't miss the Martians and you don't miss the Venetians. And the only reason why you want to miss humans is because you have a preposterous ego, and that's the only reason. And you won't acknowledge that logical fact. You'll just keep jumping over it and pretending it doesn't exist because you're a weasel and a coward and a motherfucking cunt.
How are you going to decide? It's the same thing with, that people's lives are pointless. You don't decide for somebody else if it's pointless.
It isn't there. I will stop right there, right? You don't decide for somebody else that it's pointless. You are deciding for somebody else that it's pointful. Right? That you're allowed to do. But you can't decide for somebody else it's pointless. That's just amazing, your hypocrisy. Again, it's just back to the argument. You're just saying you're too pessimistic, and like we can't say you're too optimistic. It's a non-argument. You haven't countered the argument that if you're going to decide for somebody else, you have to have some kind of justifying certainty. There has to be some credibility to your life fucking theory if you're going to impose on somebody else. There has to be a damn sure, you have to goddamn make sure if you're going to build a nuclear plant and next on your border, right next to your neighbor's house, and you're going to